Myself disagreeing with a lot of shiykh on the matter of that women in periods should not be touching the Quran. Well, that doesn't make logical sense. Why? Because in the Quran, the ayat that they base on is وَلَا يَمَسَّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. Fine. The ayat before these, Allah was talking about khalq and talking about al-nujum, and He was talking about angels and how only the purest of angels would be touching that. How did we turn that into women in periods? And plus, how could you ever say that just by touching something while in your period, you shouldn't be touching the Holy Quran because you're in an impure status? The period isn't in my hands. Moving on, there's two hadiths from the Prophet ﷺ that there's a story. Sayyidatna Aisha was sitting next to him and his jalabiya was next to her, and he told her to hand the jalabiya to him. So she was like, I'm on my period, I can't be touching your stuff. And then he was like, حيضتك ليست في يدك. Your period isn't in your hand, you can still hand me my stuff. So basically, like, that's the Prophet explicitly saying when a woman is in her period, that does not mean there is instant bodily contamination when she's in that state. That is actually Jewish tradition, because the Arabs used to do got contaminated by the Jewish, because at that time they used to put, when a woman is in her period, they used to put her in a completely different part of the house and a completely different, and for her to eat alone because she is impure. So Arabs naturally adopted that into their culture, and that's how they treated women. So the Prophet ﷺ came in and kind of eradicated such jahil type of mindset, and we're still doing that. Moving on, now they are legislating that we can read the Quran from a digital phone or بأي حاجة, but not on mushaf. Our mushaf is an oral tradition. The divinity of the words of Allah come in the words of form, is verbal. So me, in my period, it's fine for me to say the words that are the divine part, but touching the physical book, I shouldn't. The holiness of the Quran is in the pages, or in the wooden confines of the book, or what? How does that make sense? So, like, no. This is a deen of tafakkur and a deen of dalil. You people have no dalil. And the Prophet ﷺ used to recite Quran while laying his head on the lap of our mother Aisha while she was in her period. That's the closest spot to it. And he was still reciting. No.